He has been delayed only by 5 seconds, but may give him time to be able to contest both. We'll see as the time comes.
I liked CNZ's route there. He delayed the heavy just so he could get the light before the heavy, just to give himself more armor. That was a really cool route, and manages now to get almost every single weapon, just missing the shotgun. He's already trying to close out the distance against RMV. He knows he has more stack. I'm not sure if he realizes where RMV is now, but if RMV plays it right, he might get the heavy for himself. Oh wow, there's so much LG damage by CNZ. He does drop down, but luckily he has the injection, but the injection is not quite enough to save him. So first frag goes the way of RMV. I thought that was going to go to CNZ, but then the drop down, and again, a drop down.
Exactly, yeah, it's not the first time we've seen it, and it definitely won't be the last. We thought we might have... I think it was the assumption he made. He thought he was going to go straight into heavy and he could continue doing damage with the LG. Wasn't going to be the case, but CNZ just barely won that little scuffle to 12 HP. Picks up the Mega as well. Catch him on support. He's still left on only 12 HP and should be able to pick up the heavy here. As RMV could try and trade it out. He's looking to try and barely had an angle to, which was a little bit unfortunate for him.
I gotta say, CNZ's lightning gun is looking amazing so far. I don't know how much he's hitting, but it's gotta be like 45, 50s. Versus a slash, that's very impressive.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting at the moment. Use the inject now to get ready to contest this Mega. RMV hits 2 for 2. He's going to go for the third just before he picks up the Mega. That was so crucial.
The clutch shots coming out again from RMV. Just landing rail after rail after rail. Equalizing the scoreline. Trying to go for yet another to see if he can get another frag. Oh, 100 damage and then 75 with the shotgun. That was a chunky shot.
Certainly was indeed. I'm waiting to pick up this next light. Mega's up in 5 seconds. RMV's in a prime position to pick this out. Just pick up the rockets just so he can cover that T side a little bit better. Heavy now up also in the next few seconds. Yeah, I was going to say the same as well, but does find him in the end. He could have contested a bit better if CNZ didn't hit that first rail, but now he's hitting for 2. He's have to back away straight away, and hopefully, for his sake, does get pinned in the courtyard, which he has done.
Oh, and yeah, he does end up dying, because the only reason for RMV to take that route, if he's assuming that CNZ will not be at the heavy to try and cut him off, for if he was, trying to rail from the LG, and turns out CNZ did actually push for the heavy. That turned out detrimental, as RMV is now has nothing to play with, and CNZ just taking item after item.
Certainly has done, and CNZ's got a lovely, huge, healthy stack to work with. Just trying to find some information on the whereabouts of where RMV could be. Good bit of chip though from RMV here. Managed to hit the seconds. That's so important, but do remember that CNZ does have that inject.
I think CNZ should really keep the game at like mid-range, because his LG is hitting a lot, but in the rail battles it's all about RMV.
He's just not letting up at all in the slightest. When I saw him contest so well against Maxter with his own rail, that's when I knew that could be seeing someone playing a very rail-heavy game. Again, especially on a map like this.
CNZ must be hitting like 50 LG, but and RMV just closes out the distance. CNZ must be hitting like 50 LG, but he's rail. I don't know if he has even hit 2 rails in a row yet. And RMV is just hitting most of the rail shots.
Yeah, he's really packing a punch in this first map. Just shows how hungry he is for it to progress into the next round of the losers bracket. 4 minutes in, RMV with the 1 frag lead. And RMV doesn't have the trail as of yet. Just hit him back to back. Trail, this is unheard again straight afterwards, making the inject just useless.
Okay,
and as RMV,
I thought it was a rail.
Exactly, I know. I can understand what CNZ was trying to do. Was hoping that RMV would back away enough for him to try and steal the Mega, but sadly it did not work out for him, as RMV was more than prepared there. As RMV now getting a decent stack of his own, and it's going to be dangerous territory here for CNZ. Just diving straight on in. We should be able to go if he can. Yes, he does. Left on 27 HP. Mega's up in the next 10 seconds. Just give him a little bit of time to try and recover from that last engagement, but also contest this Mega as well.
I thought, CNZ getting caught off guard a little bit there. I thought after the first shotgun blast did 10 damage, I thought he was screwed, but then the second did 100, and he was back into that fight.
5-minute warning.
It's not like Anarchy's as big as a board anyway. Like, it's not like... You kind of feel like the way he's been hitting and then the amount he's been hitting is against a clutch or something like that. It's been absolutely ridiculous how great his aim skill has been from the very beginning of this match up to now. And I would love to see amount of shots fired and his percentage afterwards. Is RMV now just baiting the fact that he's trying to go for the Mega, which he is not. Managed to get away in the end. Actually catches him. CNZ was picking up that lighted in the end, but it looks like RMV has backed away. He's done quite a bit of damage nonetheless, but the problem is, if he picks up this heavy, CNZ's going to have a huge stack, and yeah, that's the time to basically get out of it. RMV is just waiting for him to see if he does come on up, which looks like he won't be.
Yeah, he was a little bit late going to the heavy because he wanted to get the light before, and CNZ read that perfectly and went for the heavy and got positioned there way before RMV could get there. This time around, roles reversed, and RMV is the one getting position on the Mega, but CNZ does actually try to push in, which, much to his demise, does not work.
Yeah, he was hoping to close out that frag and be able to pick up the Mega straight after this. It hits another rail, going straight forward for that heavy. It does get picked up in the end, so there's going to be a slightly closer affair here for RMV. Will he be able to pick up? No, he does not, as CNZ was able to get behind the wall a little bit quicker to reload that shotgun and be able to take him out straight afterwards. CNZ now still on 56 HP. Let's hope he doesn't get caught with his trousers down, with RMV potentially been able to finish up or try and get a trade, but it looks like it's not going to happen. 3.5 minutes left. Mega has been picked up for CNZ. He's trying to stabilize some kind of control. Finally, a missed rail and 2 misses, in fact, from RMV, which is quite funny. It's not something we'd normally see from RMV so far, from what we saw from the previous minutes. But the LG engagement comes out on the courtyard. Should better finish him. Yes, he does. Now only a 2-frag deficit.
So yeah, as we said, this game is super balanced, and it's 3 minutes to go. RMV is in the lead, but we still can't really be sure who is going to win. It can change in a heartbeat as CNZ gets yet another kill, getting closer and closer to the tie. Oh, can he hit the second rail? There it is, the second rail, tying up the game with still 3 minutes to go. Good control going over for CNZ. Now, can he get the spawn frag as well? He does. Standing the lead now.
Can't believe how much this has turned around in comparison to what we witnessed in the last. It's gone straight back into him again. It's going to be a caught off guard. And it's gone from a 2-frag deficit in 1 minute to now a 2-frag lead.
Oh, he almost caught him there as well. Does he miss it in the end? The CNZ is starting to read RMV quite well. There's a Mega coming up. RMV stealing the Mega, which it doesn't. If he spawns in the heavy, this could be very good for him. I think he does spawn in the... No, he spawns above, and he doesn't read that. CNZ goes for the bottom light armor. As we can see, CNZ was very careful getting in there because he assumed RMV could have taken it, but it seems not so. Whoa. Good by CNZ there.
Yeah, kind of feel like RMV should have slowed down the tempo much earlier, because every time he had a engagement in any way, didn't have the weapons in his arsenal, wasn't able to... I think he was just trying to make sure that CNZ didn't get total control in every one of the items, but it seems to be in CNZ's favor anyway. Still managed to pick up all the items. Heavy and Mega is a little bit segregated, so of course CNZ can contest both if he wants to, as he sees fit. Hits him in rail once again, and it's so unfortunate the way RMV was hitting during the first 6.5 to 7 minutes, and now it's turned out like this. It's just absolutely incredible.
It's just a shotgun, but there were no pellets.
Not something you normally see every day, is it?
The thing is with RMV, as he said, like when he was in the lead, he just kept the game going at the same pace. He did not try to slow down at all, and that versus Maxter already costed him the game. And now versus CNZ, it's costing him again. So we can see a clear line of improvement for RMV if he learns how to, you know, pace himself a little bit better once he's in control or has a lead.
Yeah, because your job, even if you haven't got the items or you haven't got the stack, you need to try and make your opponent feel as uncomfortable as possible. Yeah. And we didn't really see much of that. Just the fact that he was rolling in with like a railgun close range, or, you know, only with the machine gun in general, like, you know, he wasn't even at a stack where he could trade it out. It was just not feasible in any way, shape or form. But now CNZ is hitting most of his rails just due to the fact that he's got so much confidence and such a huge morale boost from making such a miraculous comeback due to the setting he put himself in earlier on. It was just incredible. And RMV again gets taken down a 10-frag deficit in comparison.
How did this happen? How did we go to a 10-frag deficit like this in 2 minutes? Because the scoreline does not show how close the whole game was.
It's just over-aggression, isn't it, really? Like, he was trying to stop him from getting too much control, but ended up giving it to him anyway.
Yeah. And with frags on top of it.
Exactly. So it is going to be 18-7. And sadly for RMV, it did spiral out of control, and he literally, it was what, I don't know, about, it was like 6-4, 7-5 at like the 6.5 minute mark, and then clawed all those
like
frags back to back.
7-5 at 7 minutes, and then somehow CNZ got given almost 11 frags in a row.
And not only that, though, you saw the positioning from CNZ as well. It's the fact that he was always hiding around, you know, that rail corridor or around LG, because he knew at some point he's going to add that to the collection of weapons, which, of course, RMV is going to need later on, and just kept baiting him for it every single time, and it worked. And once you've got a bigger stack on top of that, it just makes matters worse.
Yeah, and it's like the complete opposite of... I think RMV is like the complete opposite of Rom in that sense, because like Rom is a really good defensive player, not so much aggressively, and RMV on the other hand is really good when the pace is aggressive, but when he has to slow the game down, he seems quite lost in the game. So if he learns that from Rom, I think he will improve a lot.
He certainly could do. No, you're not wrong at all. And you can see from here as well, when you've got 4 minutes left and there's 4 frags, there's no need.
But he's the one pushing CNZ, right?
This is what I mean, yeah.
He could have gotten that kill, yes, but was there the need to get that kill?
Not really. It's like...
Here, he's in the lead. He's the one pushing CNZ again. And there was really no need. He could just, you know, chill back, get the rail, try to go for shots after the items that has been picked up for CNZ. But he's the one trying to force the fight when he's the one in the lead.
Because you've got to remember, it doesn't matter which champion you are. Like, how difficult is it with just a few minutes left to try and claw back 4 frags against a Slash, even if they don't have the weapons in their arsenal? It really is, and that's when you've got to slow things down, slow the tempo, rely on the audio cues to know how and when to approach the weapons, with the weapons in your arsenal. That's when you can debate what item to contest and try and get as much chip as possible to try and even things out. But sadly, that wasn't the case. He wanted to continue to have things chaotic. He obviously clearly had a different game plan, which we're assuming he was going to have, and it just spiraled out of control. So
yeah, because he kept, like, all of the fights were closed, and not really. It's like a mistake of judgment, like a judgment mistake, because once the fight is like over, he was going for fights like before items. So even if the fights were closed, CNZ would be able to stack back up. So you go for you spawn back, and it's like, oh, he was almost dead, so I'm gonna just rush back in. But at that point, CNZ already picked up another couple of items, and he's overstacking you, and he has the weapon advantage. So it just keeps going like that, again and again and again. And at some point, you're down 5 frags, and then you actually have to rush.
And this is where you got to fix yourself as well, like, you know, especially with 2 like champions. If your opponent has like all the items and got a huge stack, it only takes, you know, 2, maybe 3 rail shots just to even things out. And if you're in
one is enough versus light champions.
This is what I mean though, like if you're in a bad position as well, like with the Slash, you can quickly get out anyway and just fight another day, give it another 10 or 20 seconds, eat up the lights to, you know, recover, go back to that default stack.
Exactly, and RMV sadly got caught in that aggression spiral. So maybe in the second map it will be a little bit different, but I doubt it because he's playing Scale Bearer. So Scale Bearer kind of forces you to be aggressive all of the time, because eventually once you get a couple of kills, you can snowball quite effectively. I think this map will go RMV's way quite a lot more.
I feel like it should do. He's not the kind of player where a map with a huge scoreline will phase him at all in a slide. It's got, you know, a very strong mentality with the game, which is so crucial with a game like Quake. And going into it now, we have to see exactly if CNZ can end this 2-0, or if RMV can take this map from CNZ and take us to a map number 3. Will be the Ranger versus Scalebearer. I still think a Ranger is a good counter pick in order to avoid those ball rushes, and of course with the passive ability with the rockets as well, just to try and get out, or even with the orb. You know, there's a lot of get out of jail free cards here, depending on the position you place yourself in against the Scale Bearer's Bull Rush. But we are going to be starting off with CNZ POV, just slowing things down a little bit. Just try and hit that first rail, just back away to pick up that light, but so far so good. So not really as chaotic as we saw previously, but I'm sure RMV is going to force that to happen at some stage. Exactly.
Just give it a second, and there it is, the full rush, and CNZ gets back in, does do 100 damage, and steals the heavy. That's a huge steal from CNZ. RMV, is he still going to try to push? Oh, well, he is. Of course he is, and there he comes in. Hits the... But CNZ, he does die, but he hits so much. And the tanks do take a lot longer to, you know, stack back up to a normal stack. So CNZ definitely could be playing much more aggressive, like from spawn now. Let's see. Both major items are going to be spawning at the same time. CNZ definitely wanting to take one of them at least.
Sure he will. He's only got a few rockets left remaining. RMV trying to Look at that cheeky rail shot.
Oh, and he
good
gets
prediction
two.
as well, knowing that that light was just daring him across. Get a little bit of LG as well. Doesn't hit the last one, but the damage has been done.
Yeah, two rail shots onto Ranger and going for, oh, there's the bull rush. Goes up the jump pad. Oh, and CNZ, that's such a good defensive play, right? Like even being there initially, that was the bait from CNZ. He knew he was going to use the bull rush, and then he knew he could just go up the jump pad, and that's an easy kill.
Yeah, it's not a choke point you normally see every day, but it managed to abuse it nonetheless. It's still a really good one, just of course not used and normally when they've actually got that height advantage around the Mega.
It's one of the few choke points that actually work even against Scale Bearer's bull rush.
Yeah.
So well played to CNZ for getting that kill. Oh, that's a nice shot. And RMV just keeps landing the shots. Would be good for him to switch weapons now. There he is. There's the switch weapon. Then he goes back to the rail and he hits it anyway.
Oh, if he managed to hit that, that would have been huge for RMV.
This
But
is
it doesn't
still
matter.
huge. He's going to get both major items now in CNZ. Oh, he comes in way too late and he's going to get bull rushed into shotgun. And that's an easy kill for RMV. And now the worst part is that, oh my god, what a flake. The worst part is that CNZ does not have the orb anymore. Oh, I think he's railable now. Can CNZ do anything? Not quite yet.
And luckily not anymore after that health bubble, but he's picked up the light and the other health anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. He's just standing his ground, holding that height advantage, picks up the light, will get the Mega, and he can also go for the rotation for the heavy if he can. Doesn't need to bull rush towards it. He probably wish he could, but didn't have the bull rush available, sadly.
Oh, man.
Hits the first rail. Looking for the second. Was actually bringing up the LG just for extra insurance, but sadly misses the other rail, and will CNZ be able to try and throw this lead? He does, makes it 2 apiece.
Like, this is what I don't get with RMV. Like, he did really good damage after CNZ picked up the heavy, but then there was no need for him to keep holding the angle, you know? You did the damage, take that win, regroup for the next fight.
Yeah, both from on a number of occasions in this match and previous matches have overextended or been in a position a little bit too long. Good rail again from RMV. I love the rails from RMV so far. It's like a British Maxter, so to speak, when you see him play on the map like that. Yeah, that's probably the best the best way I can put it so far. Hitting another rail again, it's just ridiculous. And some good damage, almost cleaned him up with the MG. Does pick up the health bubble in the end, but he smells blood. Oh. Cleans him up with the rail anyway. Of course he does. A little bit of style points there. Picks up the Mega and the light. Heavy is up as well. And if he picks up... Oh, in the end, CNZ actually managed just to steal it. But how much more is he going to be able to do? Managed to hit the first rail, so it does a bit of chip.
That's fine.
So he doesn't walk away too much with the stack.
It means that Scale isn't walking around with 200 armor at least. So CNZ can definitely come back into this game now. If he plays his positions right, because he knows Scale does not have the bull rush yet. However, he's in the part of the map that shouldn't be good for CNZ. What the hell was that rail again? I've never seen a Scale Bearer use rail so much, ever. Because as Scale Bearer, you want to play close, but he's playing long range and somehow it's working because he's hitting everything.
When it should be his opponent trying to keep his distance, but basically giving him the position, like gifting it to him, and still can't hit these rails. But the rails RMV is hitting, it's just absolutely incredible. But does
he's way too early here. It goes for the bull rush and does do some damage, but CNZ does get the kill in the end. 3 seconds for the Mega, and the heavy will be up soon as well. He was kind of scared to see where RMV was going to be.
Can you blame him at this point?
Yeah, and now he sees that, okay, he stole the heavy, good rail by CNZ. Just go back, take the position on top. And now he's lost it. And he also got railed on top of that, just to add salt to injury.
And both these players just need to not overextend, just be patient, just slow down the tempo, especially
RMV now,
exactly.
Right? He's in the lead, he's in the position that we often see him. And this is where things usually start going wrong for him. So he's overstacking his opponent. He's in the lead. There's less than 5 minutes remaining. Let's see what he will do with this. Like, I don't like this fight by RMV. He didn't have to go for that fight, right? The stacks were completely even. There was no way CNZ were going to be able to push him. But this is the beauty of playing Scale Bearer, is that if you do enough damage to your opponent, you spawn with such a massive stack, you can just go back in right from spawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas with other champions, he would try this and it wouldn't work. With Scale Bearer, it definitely works. So maybe this is why he plays like this with the other champions, because he has this bad habit with Scale Bearer. Oh, going for the rockets, not quite hitting, but he does land the shot in the end.
Oh, if he took him out
that.
there, I swear. I swear to
I think
God.
the CNZ would just GG out, even though there's another map left.
It would just be 2-ing onto another planet, wouldn't he, at this point? But in the end, he's still only 1 frag behind. Stacks are almost equal. Just picking up the hourglasses here, get ready for the next orb. And the orb has helped him more ways than one. CNZ now just going up top. RMV gets them 2 beautiful rails to be able to clutch up and get that mega heavy. Is going to be up in the next 17 seconds. So still got quite a while yet, but he's more than welcome to stand up top and stand in position, or just to put a little bit more pressure onto CNZ, which he has done here. And it's good to see as well, just depleting his stack before going for the heavy, so he can get it for free later on. This job is only on 17 HP, but RMV is almost on the same HP as well. Misses that blast well. Actually goes for it. RMV takes it in the end, picks up the heavy as well. Now got a 3 frag lead, still got 3 minutes left remaining. And CNZ knows exactly where he is, but has to, of course, prioritise the items and pick up, well, hopefully at some stage, a rail of his own, but goes in close range and gets a scale of all things you don't want to do. 11 HP. RMV is equally as weak, but he knows that, of course, CNZ doesn't have a rail of his own.
Let's see, 2.5 minutes to go. CNZ a little bit of an advantage. Can he get this kill? He hasn't taken any damage. This is a very clean kill overall. So 5 seconds for the Mega. CNZ should, yep, just rocket jump up, get ready for it, get the Mega, and then go on a hunt. He also needs to get some more ammunition for his weapons, and to get that rail as well.
He needed that frag to be clean in order to keep himself in this matchup, and thank God for him he did. But the rail again, coming up from RMV. I think the trophy for Railgun, I would not be surprised if it went to this young man himself, considering the, the style points and the plays and the accuracy he's really been shown so far. And it's nice to see it's not only on Veil he's been showing this, he's been showing it on Runes and that last map also. Good LG damage there from CNZ. Mega is still up, as RMV just waiting to see what he was going to do, but decides to play it safe, use that bull rush to try and get away and pick up the light in the next room.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I thought he was going to use the bull rush to, run back at CNZ and do the mistake that he's been doing for the past games. But this time around, trying to play it safe. And I think he might be rewarded with the map win, because it's really hard to, especially after that heavy pickup, it's going to be very hard for CNZ to push back against that. But we'll see. Still has a little over a minute to go. Only 2 frags. There's RMV. Lands the shot. Lands another shot.
This must
is
be
he going to go away, or is he going to stay there?
So frustrating for CNZ. And you can see with the bull rush as well, we haven't seen RMV much, using that bull rush to guarantee himself heavy or anything like that. He's just been using it for, that offensive purposes, to get in close or to basically do some damage here. Good rail from RMV again, but comes in with the orb as well. Only on 46 HP, does manage to clean him up, and it's only 1 frag deficit here for CNZ, trying to close him out on spawn and the LG, and at the same time gets the Mega and will pick up the light, and RMV still pushes in for the TP. Now 8 apiece, and still got 40 seconds left remaining. This could very well, of course, go to sudden death, depending on where RMV is going to rotate next.
If RMV loses this, he will have lost all games due to the same exact reason.
Yeah.
Just again, he was in the lead, there was a minute remaining, 2 frags in the lead, and he decided to push both of the times. Oh no!
He has the bull rush. He had the bull rush there. He could have at least gone over it for the heavy, but you saw there, of course. Yeah.
He tried it, he just couldn't do it, and now the heavy is still up, and CNZ with the monstrous stack. And he found RMV, oh no, right before the timer, and CNZ is going to be able to win 2-0 versus RMV. Wow.
That was such a close series in itself. Again, 2-0 doesn't do itself justice. We needed to see a best of 7 between them, didn't we? But it was, again, the repeat mistakes from RMV, just learning to try and just slow things down a bit, which, don't get me wrong, he did at one stage.
Yeah, he did do at some point, but then when it was a minute remaining, he started, okay, that's enough maybe. But yeah, I think this is, for RMV, this is going to be really good, because, he made that same repeated mistake in almost all of the games. So as soon as he, improves on that, because outside of that, he wasn't really doing many mistakes. He's basically just that repeated mistake over and over again. And CNZ, on the other hand, maybe this is his revenge redemption arc?
Maybe. We'll see as time comes. We'll witness exactly what's going to happen with CNZ Samo. And yeah, against RMV, he's shown a lot of class, a lot of potential as well. And I kind of feel like that one key problem he has is just slowing things down a bit and just trying to not be too predictable with some of the bits and pieces he does with his like for example, like with, with his ball rushes or how he plays with some of the champions, then we could be seeing a completely different scoreline. Like it easily could have been 2-0 for RMV.
The 2-0 doesn't do it justice, right? Because all of the maps were very, very close, and we didn't know who was going to win until the last 5 seconds on both maps.
Yeah.
And even then, as we see on the frag highlights, it was very close the whole way throughout. Both players coming up with some incredible frags, some incredible clutch moments. It really could have gone either way. As we said, this was going to be the most balanced game of all of today, and it delivered.
Just the fact that it could have gone 2-0 the opposite way round to RMV. So certainly for RMV, he is out of the Tommy. He will be kicking himself a little bit, but I can guarantee you this one little issue he has, which he can rectify in terms of controlling the tempo of the matchup, we could see him being an absolute monster in the future.
Definitely. I mean, it's not something that hard to fix once you're completely aware of it, because it happens always at the same kind of time, right? So once he's aware, now he should be aware of it. If not, he can just watch the VODs and become aware of it. Then he just has to improve on that, and he will, improve tenfold as a player, because he was ahead versus even Maxter.
Yeah, his aim skill was ridiculous in itself.
Right? If he can beat players like Maxter, if he had fixed that, then he can beat anyone.
Yeah, it's interesting in itself. It's just, again, very unfortunate, but I know it's going to be a little bit demoralizing for RMV, but literally it's like we said before, and we say again, this one little thing with RMV which he'll fix, which I'm sure he will do during the off-season, during challenges. I'm sure he'll be a real force to be reckoned with and a real nuisance for a lot of these top players.
He already is.
This is what I mean. I imagine
he already is
future,
a force to be reckoned with, and it's still only his second LAN. So, imagine, I wonder how he's going to be improving a year from now.
Yeah.
He's going to be like a much more complete player.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of see him more as an open-ended player right now, but with the over-aggression, slow down the tempo, and being a little bit less predictable of where he goes when he's a player of the lower stack, then we could be seeing an entirely different player overall.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking forward to see how he improves based on that. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how CNZ progresses throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, still plenty of way to go here, trying to make that losers bracket run. I'm sure he will, seeing how he does tomorrow, as this is the final match of the evening. But speaking of the Devil, we do have CNZ ready for an interview to see how felt that match unfolded.
CNZ, congratulations on winning the last game. What a comeback, man. Amazing, that second map. When we all thought that we will go to the third map, you managed to not do so. So how do you feel with that comeback?
I feel well, actually. I'm really glad that I could make that kind of comeback, because as we know, Scalber is really hard to play versus him, and to come back also sometimes. So I tried not to die and to get ready for a bull rush.
Yeah, now that you are going to the semifinals of the lower bracket, you will go against Dramis. I think so, maybe not, but you will reach maybe eventually the final of the lower bracket, maybe eventually the grand final. So how would you prepare those next fixtures?
I think I already played enough for today, and maybe before tomorrow's match versus Dramis, I will play a bit with someone duels, maybe a bit ranked, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, thank you very much for your words. I hope you enjoy on the main stage, and I hope to see you tomorrow again. So enjoy your win. Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much indeed. CNZ as humble as always, and if it is going to be a CNZ versus Dramis matchup, it will be
another
a team kill with Dragon Ball and Esport,
yeah.
But at least one of them is going to be guaranteed going into the next round, of course.
Yeah, that's good. So, we're going to be looking at the upper bracket a little bit now, as we see the team kill right at the start, Razy and Zenako, which will be playing tomorrow, then Maxer versus Shane. Like, all of these games are really, really good games. Like, Razy should have the advantage versus Zenako, right? But then Maxter and Shane, I don't know. Both of these players are sort of in the same position. They both performed amazingly in the Quake World Championship 2022, and they've both been playing amazing in here. So it's going to be a really cool game to watch.
I think with Zeneku as well, we saw how amazingly well he performed against Rafa at QuakeCon. Literally, that one shotgun shot, I'll never forget it on that top heavy bridge.
He just got really unlucky twice with Rafa's rockets, right?
Exactly.
So it was heartbreaking to see, because it was twice.
Yeah, twice in one shot. Wasn't even just the one time.
Versus Razy as well, it was in Corrupted Keep, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that rocket. It was that rocket versus Razy, and then the shotgun at the end of Blood Covenant versus Rafa. It was two heartbreaking moments for him.
Yeah, you couldn't make this up, could you? But if he put on such a good performance against Rafa and Razy in the past, there's no reason why he can't do it again here. But
exactly.
It's possible to look at the elimination bracket as well to see how everyone's performing so far, just to keep everyone updated to see where they are positioned. Because, of course, we've been talking a lot about the winners bracket in terms of the winners semis and how they're going to perform. We know that Razy, Zeneku, Chain and Maxter, guarantee themselves top 6 here. As with the loser bracket, we've still got Dramus and CNZ as well, and they'll be waiting for their opponents coming out from the winners semi side as well. So it's going to be a tough nut to crack. We can see that Dramus and CNZ are definitely going to have a very long day ahead of them, depending on how far they get.
Definitely, and it's a really cool, like, a team kill, yeah, but both of them are, shaping up. Like CNZ, I thought RMV sort of had the advantage in this game, but CNZ won, and I want to keep seeing him go further and further, because I want to see the CNZ that we were seeing like a year ago in previous tournaments, and I hope he finds the motivation to get there again.
Yeah, he's had multiple different placements, high and low. Like, in 2020 QuakeCon, he was that player who, was actually fighting for survival, wasn't he, in relegation? Yeah. And in the end, he was going from fighting for relegation to get top 6. Like, that was absolutely ridiculous. We saw Kron do that as well. Came in this year's QuakeCon as 23rd seed, made top 8. Like, we've seen some crazy, crazy upsets. Players playing nothing like their seed in comparison to what we normally witness. It's just absolutely incredible. But, in terms of like how the day's gone for you and what we've seen so far, we've seen a lot of clean sweeps, but again, the scores haven't reflected. Like, that was a very good example of where it could have been RMV. But before we do that, though, let's have a look at the lower bracket to see how things are going so far. So, as you can see here, Dramus did manage to take down Rome 2-0 earlier on, as we watched on stream.
So it's not Dramus versus CNZ yet. So the team kill might eventually happen if Dramus beats either Zeneku or Razy. Or, okay, so we were a bit wrong. Sorry, chat, for misleading you.
I'm sure it's fine, but it does mean that these two players are going to have some very, very tough opponents if they do want to have that dragon. Well, if they do somehow both make it into losers semis, then it means at least one of them is going to be guaranteed into the top 3. But it's a big ask. You got to remember. Now you've got either Maxter, Chain and Razy or Zeneku.
I think it just became a lot harder for both of them now, right? Because one of them like this would be guaranteed to the lower bracket, like semi-final, but now it's a lot harder.
I don't think it matters. It's basically pick your poison at this stage. Who do you want between the two?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, really. I think all of them are really hard to go up against.
It really is going to be hell on earth for both these players. I think they know from the bracket that, of course, Dramus is going to have Zeneku or Razy and CNZ is going to have Maxter or Chain. But it doesn't matter which one it's going to be.
There is no easy match anymore, right?
Exactly.
There are no easy matches. Everyone now left in the tournament can win it.
Yeah. I suppose they're probably hoping it was a team kill now so they can guarantee themselves top 4. So I think we were more assuming that, it's top 8 going to the top 6. But of course, it does mean that Dramus and CNZ have guaranteed themselves top 6 here. It's just a matter of waiting on how the winners semi-finals goes tomorrow. And make sure you guys tune in then to see exactly how it will all unfold throughout the entire course of tomorrow. But yeah, apart from that, though, from the elimination bracket, was any highlight matches for you that really stood out and made you think, okay, this is an absolute banger, or maybe...
This last one.
Yeah.
CNZ versus RMV was my favorite match of today, I believe. What was yours?
Can I say the same, or was that?
No.
I'm not allowed to say the same.
I've
said it. I'm going to say the Maxter RMV one on Vale. That was...
That's just one map, though.
Yeah, but we have to talk about it. The fact that RMV had a 6-0 lead, again, they're talking about, the mistakes he needs to rectify. It's just, like, absolutely incredible. And it definitely could have gone either way. Of course, the first map, a little bit different. Maxter was just all over the place at random. But yeah, it was just absolute madness of a day, nonetheless. But make sure you guys follow KeenCon Gaming on both Twitter and Instagram. But not only that, KeenCon TV on, of course, Twitch and YouTube. And don't forget, hashtag Barcelona KeenCon 2022 and hashtag Be The Beast as well. Make sure you get your feedback to see what you think of this event and the venue and how everything's gone so far. But final thoughts from you from the end of the day?
I think we've said almost everything we wanted to say. We finished on a pretty high note. CNZ taking down RMV on a very close game. that had a lot of crazy moments. And sadly, sad to see RMV go, but I'm happy to see CNZ stay.
Yeah, it was. I have to be a little bit biased for RMV, of course, but I was hoping like he'll be able to progress further. But it's just one of those things, and I think again, it's just another learning curve he's got to try and go up and all that circumstances. But sadly for you guys at home, that is the final part of the day. We do have plenty more action tomorrow. We've got both winners semis, the losers quarters as well, and we're going on forward to the grand final. So it's the final day tomorrow here at Barcelona KeenCon. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. So we'll see you soon.